Currently, she's a director at an art education company where she inspires children and adults worldwide with her creativity. Back to you, Laurinda.
Leonor, I know that you like to introduce yourself as a visual storyteller, which I love. The series you have at the Embassy of Portugal and at the Portuguese American Art Gallery are filled with wonderful stories you have about your Portuguese heritage. Would you please share some of those stories with us?
Yes, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And I would like to start to thank the Embassy of Portugal in Washington, D.C., PALCUS, the Portugal U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and FLAD for the opportunity to show my artwork, but also for promoting Portuguese American artists. Talking about my art is talking about my life, as I often translate my adventures into artwork. My journey starts in Portugal, and I would love to share my Portuguese stories with you. So the series is on display at the Embassy. It's called Roots and is inspired by my Portuguese heritage. This exhibition also includes music by António Celso Ribeiro, who is here with us tonight. This first artwork is a silhouette of a woman, and I often use this silhouette as a symbol of the women's role in passing the cultural traditions down to the new generations. This artwork represents like a women figure, like a womb, which is moving and carrying designs related to elements of our culture, such as delicate filigrees and embroidery patterns. This picture shows the process and gives you an idea about the dimension of the artwork. I literally sat inside this womb shape to paint the figure and the cultural symbols. I call these 4 works mandalas. As you know, a mandala is a visual representation of the universe that can have a sacred meaning in certain cultures, but is also a geometric element that can be found in the Portuguese architecture, rose windows, carved ornaments, Portuguese pavement, lace, etc. So these works represent my memories of my walks in the streets of Portugal in noticing all these beautiful elements which are sacred to me. The location of Portugal on the Atlantic Ocean influenced many aspects of our culture. We are sailors at heart. We travel the ocean to find other lands. We get our famous cod fish and sardines from the ocean. And most recently, we're exploring the marine renewable energy. These artworks illustrate the connection of the Portuguese people to the ocean and their stories. You can see people using nets to get the fish, but also carrying elements of our culture from one place to another. This work shows the lace makers weaving lace, which is a traditional Portuguese art craft. It also represents the lace makers sharing stories about their lives and their traditions. Oh, this artwork is inspired by the rooster of Barcelos, the famous rooster of Barcelos and its tail. The rooster is originally a ceramic rooster painted with colorful patterns. This piece is the most famous souvenir from Portugal and became a national symbol. So if you didn't go to Portugal yet, when you go, make sure you get one because it's the most famous souvenir. Oh, let me just go back here. So I called this work Metamorphosis because I wanted to represent the visual changes of this symbol throughout the years, but always keeping a role in our culture. Because nowadays we also see contemporary artists interpreting this symbol. This work shows the diversity in Portugal. Portugal is a small country, but is also a multicultural universe. This diversity can be translated by different races, different accents, different types of food, music, and cultural traditions found in Portugal. The next works are not in display at the embassy. There was no space to put everything. We tried, right, Sandra? We tried to fit. So I'm still finalizing some parts of this series, but these are ready. They are also large size, like the first one. The first one I show with the black silhouette. These large pieces are women carrying symbols of the Portuguese culture. On the left is inspired, the work is inspired by the traditional Portuguese terracotta pottery. These ceramics have an earth tone, actually are a little more reddish than we have here, and are hand painted with flowers and designs made of small dots. On the right, the work is inspired by the Vienna scarf shawls. These traditional shawls have floral folk patterns and are part of the traditional costumes in Viana do Castelo, which is a city located in the north of Portugal. These scarves are usually worn around the shoulders or on the head by the women during village celebrations. On the left, this artwork represents the Portuguese tiles, what we call the azulejos. Tiles are everywhere in Portugal. They decorate everything from church walls, monasteries, palaces, ordinary houses, park seats, fountains, murals, shops, even subway stations. You can find antique tiles and very contemporary samples of this art form in Portugal. So the contemporary artists are also using this medium to do their work. On the right, the artwork is inspired by the Vienna heart, which is a very traditional Portuguese jewelry. This Vienna heart can be made of gold or silver and was initially created as a symbol of religious devotion, but very soon became another symbol of Portugal and of the Portuguese art of filigree. This series took a new path here, and I started exploring a Portuguese material. Portugal is the biggest cork producer in the world, and I paint the image of these people to show the importance of this material for Portugal. I also have other works in progress using the same material, and I've seen also designers using in different kinds of things, not only the traditional ways, but I've seen in clothes, I've seen accessories and furniture. So I'm using now to do probably my silhouettes and other forms artwork. So it's a work in progress. Enough about me. Now I would like to ask Sandra to introduce my dear friend Antonio Celso Ribeiro, who did a creative response to my art with his music. We have been working together for years now, and we often combine visual art, music, movement, and sometimes poetry in our projects.
Sure. So Dr. Antonio Celso Ribeiro is an adjunct professor, chair of composition at the Federal University of Espírito Santo, Victoria in Brazil. Ribeiro is a composer and has been awarded at several international composition competitions.
Antonio Celso, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Sandra and Leonor. I'm very happy to join the talk, and mainly to talk about this collaboration. As I said, it's for a long time. And I can say, I think music visually, and Leonor think her paints musically. So we have a very good combination. But sometimes we have a problem because I prefer to work with music, with the painting, and check me for the music first. Okay? So I'll try to find an agreement. Okay.
he asked me to have the image ready to do the music, and I asked for his music to do the painting. So he said, well, I need the painting, well, I need the music. And we go back and forth.
But the process is very simple. I like to, like to date the painting. I like to contemplate it and hear the music behind it. It's a very strange, but like a synesthesia. So it's like I'm able to listen to the colors, listen to the lines, listen to the memories. For this work, for just expose, I choose three work: the Roost of Brazao, and the Filigree Heart, and the Lace Maker. I think very beautiful work, and I choose for them the Portuguese guitar, the classical guitar, and I would add a double bass to add some color, some, like say, an extra flavor to the music. And I have a Portuguese ancestry. My grandfather was from Portugal, and so I can say I breathe Portuguese culture in my daily life. And I brought out some memories, my musical memories from Portugal. And the memory I brought to this music is that of the fado. It is impossible not to like the fado. The fado that has for me two very important things: a sense of melancholy, and at the same time is happy. The music is happy. The lyric is very sad. And I try to express this in music. If you listen to music, music is happy, but at the same time you feel something sad about the music. And the same way, I think the work of Leonor, they have that feeling of happiness and that a little bit of poetic melancholy. So for me, I think it's very easy, this connection, and I'm enjoying it very much.
Right. So we're going to listen now a little bit about his composition. Do you have anything else to show about this collaboration, Antonio Celso?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So he did, you already mentioned, but I'm going to just say again, he did three compositions for this series. One is called The Rooster from Barcelos. Another one is The Filigree Heart and The Lace Maker. And at the embassy, we have a sensor that plays the music when you walk by the artworks. So let me play a little bit of the music so you can appreciate it too.
So, Leonor, back to you now. You talked about your series roots, but I know you also have other series that are not necessarily related to Portugal. Would you like to talk a little bit about them too?
Of course, I have more adventures on the world that I translate into art. So I have many series, and each series I tell a story, and I'll be very happy to share a couple. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. So this series is called Looking for the Source, and is about personal reflections after September 11. this was a moment that the world changed and I changed too. So it was a lot of self-reflections, and I did more series, but I brought this one just to show you. Also, I love birds. So this series is inspired by birds, which have a spiritual meaning for me. The birds are my spirit animal, if that such thing exists. And I like to paint birds using different art techniques. And I'm so blessed now that I live in Virginia and I have so many birds around me because I live close to nature.
You know, I know that you also have a musical background, and in fact, I believe you play the cello. What role does music have? What role does music play in your life?
So I really came from a family of musicians. My mother was a piano teacher, a piano player, professional, and we lived in São Paulo, and we were 5 kids. 4 of them played an instrument. Just one brother didn't. And at the end, just one became professional. And we all had friends. There's no computers or or digital games. So that's what we did. We played music. And yes, I have so many memories. And let me share with you some of the series.
Wonderful.
So I made more than what is here. I just picked 3 to talk about. And they are inspired by music and by musician friends, who are still in contact, like Antonio Celso Ribeiro. I met him in Brazil, and it was actually my mother's student. And
oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we stay connected. So also I played cello. Recently, I went back playing, I'm just for fun. I don't have any aspiration to be a Pablo Casals, but I love it. Antonio Celso wrote the music for me. It's too difficult. I told him, can you speak a line? So I did my own interpretation. One day I called him and said, Antonio Celso, this is my interpretation. Sorry. Yeah, but it was beautiful. He said it was beautiful. I'm not sure. He's still talking to me, so I think it went well. So, so I have many series about musicians. I can tell you some stories about these ones. So, for example, this one on the left, I was visiting São Paulo, and a friend, a cello player, Vanna Bock, invited me to attend a concert. She was playing with several musicians, with Neymar Diaz, which is an amazing guitar player. And the concert was so uplifting. It was so, my goodness, was so beautiful. Then I got home and I decided to paint 24. I didn't know how many, but I just started painting the musicians. And so when I look at these paintings, some of them remind me of some friends, but what was the feeling, the emotion of that was so much beauty that I need.
That's amazing.
Capture, yeah. The series on the right is called The Musicians Visit São Paulo. There are several, and I even did a digital version of photographies, pictures I took from São Paulo, and I insert the musicians. And so it's called the Musicians Visit São Paulo. And the one on the center is called The Blues, and is inspired by jazz and also for Brazilian jazz, which is chorinho. So as I mentioned, I have a brother who is a clarinetist. He's a clarinet player. He's a professional. So it's the only one really follow that path. And his kind of music, very happy, very whimsical, and all these colors, they're very Brazilian. So I did this series. We actually work on a project with Antonio Celso. We wrote a composition, and my brother will record the clarinet. We're going to put together a video. So yes, music is part of my life, either if I'm trying to play cello again or if I'm painting.
Leonor, you are also a poet and an illustrator. I also see women are very, very present in your artwork and also in your poetry. You mentioned before the influence your mother had on you. Would you like to talk a little bit about this?
Yes, so let me just share with you this slide. So both my parents were poets. I didn't care when I was young, but few years ago, poetry became my artistic outlet. I started writing after my parents passed, especially my mother, because I needed an extra channel to express my emotions. So I self-published 2 books. One is called The Flight and express several emotions while I visit different parts of my life, family members and moments, memories. And the second is dedicated to women. Regarding women reference in my art, first, I come from a family of strong women. My mother was an amazing human being. She was a visual artist, a musician, and a poet who influenced me in many aspects of my life. Also, I'm blessed to have so many wonderful women in my life. For example, all of you here. Let's go the shout out for you. But also because I feel like women roles need to be highlighted. We start seeing more women in powerful positions, but still there are many women in the background and their work needs to be more valued. I think we're taken for granted, you know, we do a lot. So I even wrote a poem called The Line that expresses that. Lodian, would you like to risk to read it?
I will give it a try. I'll give it a try. It's so beautiful. So I hope I can do it justice. The line. She drew the line continuous, like a river that flows without destination, a line that has no middle, beginning, or end, but has marked out the frontiers of its space, giving form to its message. This line, which she nourished and let define her voice, enhanced her soul. A line that ran through days and nights, valleys and mountains, a drawn-out journey guarded in a small notebook. Some scribbles without importance in a world where she had no place. It was a woman that was drawing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have more questions?
Leonor, I'm wondering, given this change in the world that we're dealing with today, how did this pandemic, how did COVID-19 affect your inspiration, your production of art? I'd love to hear the impact it's had on you.
Absolutely. So I saw the pandemic as an opportunity to try new things. Let me share with you. So I decided this is new. Let's try to do everything I can do when I'm on the old normal way. So I had class online with people that I was not able before because they were in other countries. I was supposed to travel last year to go to Xingu to visit my friends indigenous and stay with them and doing art with them. Was not possible. So I had class with people who actually had contact with the indigenous culture. And that inspired me to do more serious. And also I decided to go to places and new places I've never been before, like around here. I have so many parks and gardens and beautiful, beautiful places that I was postponed. So I did that and I explored new materials. So I made long walks in these parks and forests, and I tried to be close to nature as much as possible. And then I did several series about nature. I believe nature is a source of healing. So as you can see here, on the sides are the new series. On the left, the first time I post this series on Instagram, I got some comments. This is horrible. Why are you doing the COVID? And I said, well, it's exactly the opposite. Nature is healing. So we have the COVID on the background fading, and nature is bringing us the balance and the beauty that we need to cope with these times. So I have several, I did it with these colors. I actually use a Portuguese material that is kind of a graphite, is beautiful. And the one on the right is inspired by my walks in the park that I have close to my house, which is Algonquin Park.
Yeah.
And an amazing, I've been there before, but I never explored. So I explored the trails and spend more time there. And there's a river too. The Potomac River is beautiful. So I took
Yeah.
a lot of pictures, and then I drew when I came, and I use new materials like tempera sticks and things like that.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think nature is extremely healing, and this is so beautiful. So really seems like you were even more inspired,
Yes, yes.
which is wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. And the one in the center is, I already had that, but it's called The Power of Nature. It's this whole series. I even did a video, and we have Antonio Celso's music, but it's called The Power of Nature. So I just want to have it here in mind, people, that nature can help us. It's out there.
That is
Absolutely.
really interesting.
Just
We
capture
will-
the beauty of nature. Yeah.
That is really interesting. I wanted to ask you a question. What kind of other works do you do?
Let me share with you. So yes, so I have some series that I transform in videos. I call them musical poems, since I combine my artwork, music, and sometimes poetry. And all of them have a poetic message. I did several with Antonio Celso, and these ones are more about nature because it's the last ones I did. And they're very special to me because also connects with the indigenous people energy. So if we have time, let me see, what time is it? I can play one of them. What do you think? Do we have time?
I think so.
I think so.
So let me
It'd be great.
just be nice to me. I'll be back. I'm just going to capture the video. And then let me see here. Here it is. Give me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. There we go.
That's beautiful.
Really beautiful. I love the sound of birds and nature. Like you, I've been taking a lot of walks, and it is so relaxing. And
A presença juntamente com ela, o pessoal do Grecon, né? Que está sempre
Quem tá
junto com a
falando?
gente aqui.
I'm
Muito
sorry.
obrigado.
Let me just go there and stop
Raquel,
the
você
video.
se apresenta como
There's another video here. So let me just go delete this and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Technology. Okay.
okay, here we go. Okay, wonderful. Well, I think we're ready to open it up to questions. What do you all think?
I think it's a good idea. We have a question. We have a question from Mike here. So Mike is asking, is there another event that has occurred that has inspired you to create art? If so, what was it?
Let me see. I think, for example, the birth of my daughters, it was very impactful for me. And I did several series about pregnancy, about them. Yes. So there are several, but I think that was one of my biggest events was to be a mother. It was very important to me.
That's nice. Since we don't have more questions for now, I will ask you a question, Leonor, if you don't mind. So you were exposed to different cultures, Portuguese, Brazilian, American, and we can see that in your artwork for sure. So how did this affected you and your artwork in your perspective?
So the fact I moved so much, so I was born in Portugal, I moved to Brazil, I went back to Portugal, I came to the US, I lived in 3 different states. It forced me to reinvent myself constantly. So when you change cultures, you can question everything, and the culture questions you too. So you learn to adapt and to try new things. So that's an attitude I have. I'm always reinventing myself. So when people ask me what is my art style, I say that what's more important is my attitude of trying new things and exploring new materials, new themes all the time. So everything is like a white canvas for me. Let's start. What can I do here? Is exciting. So in terms of art, as I mentioned, I'm always reinventing myself, and also I'm always expressing the cultures that embraced me.
That's great.
So Maria Amelia is asking, what is the meaning of those words in your video?
So one of them was obrigado, thank you, in Arawak, Merinaku. And I signed that video with Atalu Merinaku, which was the indigenous name. The indigenous from this village gave it to me, and means feminine tree. So, and it starts with a poem about trees. I had a poem already written that about women. And then I changed the word women to tree. So it was kind of like honoring them too, about nature and how they treat nature. Is that answered, Maria Amelia?
So we have another one from Mariana. She's asking, could you tell us about your trajectory as an artist? How did you start and how have you evolved over time?
So I was, as I mentioned, I was born in the artistic environment, especially with my mother. And my first memories was when during the summer, we collect shells and pebbles and other found objects at the beach in Portugal. And then when we got home, we're doing collage. So that's my first memories. It's very vivid on me. And it's interesting because her artistic expression was done with collage, with textiles. You can see even our artwork here on the back. But for me, it was the first time I started doing compositions and assembling things together. Then later, I remember drawing, just putting together. So my parents would go out and they come home. I was like with a pile of fruits and objects, and I was drawing them. So I don't know what triggered that, but that's another memory. But it was in Brazil where I was exposed to dance. I studied dance, music, and visual arts that exploded. It was like so much. Brazil is a very creative country. So I was blessed to be exposed to that force of nature and for amazing people. So later I did, I had a degree in visual communication, I went to college, and also on that degree, I was exposed to many things: ceramics, silk screen, printing, painting, academic drawing, more freehand drawing. And I had a teacher, was amazing. Her name is Eva Soba, and she was amazing. She really taught me, gave me the space, the environment to find my own way. I talked to her about that one day. I went to São Paulo, I said, no, you're already ready. Like, no, you help me. So it's interesting that she felt like I was already ready. So that was like really high points that I remember about the visual art. I remember then I went to music, and I played in different youth orchestras. I had several groups of chamber music with all my friends that now they are professional musicians. They're maestros, they're players on the orchestras and some groups in Brazil. So that I think also helped me with my creativity in another sense. Then my life had a new turn, and I went back to Portugal, and I went to work in advertising. So it's a different world. So I left. So I had that education in visual arts, and then I went to music, and then suddenly I went to the corporate world of advertising, and where I work on the creative team. So I started with Joe Walter Thompson, then other agencies, and it was very creative. But it was not art. It was to sell products. But it was interesting. I think helped me with the digital art. It helped me to have deadlines, to be structured. I think Sandra is still very surprising every time I do something. I have a structure. I have something. So I think that comes from those times. Everything is organized, and so helped me. And later I moved to the US with my little two kids. I had two little kids at the time, and I was not working at the time. So I had time to explore my creativity again. And then I got involved with the schools. I had two young kids. I wanted to know how they're going to be raised on this culture. So I started volunteer at the schools and bringing my creativity, and also painting. So I was very creative. I could paint and do exhibitions. I did exhibitions in several places. I live in New Hampshire at the time, but I even went to New York and I exhibit there and all the states around. Then I went to Texas, where I had another amazing professor. She exposed me to different techniques. She was fantastic. And then I moved to Virginia, where I work at an art education company. But on the side, I'm always doing art. So, and before I was full-time working, I did more exhibitions because I had more time. So I had exhibitions in DC, galleries, and even another embassies and other venues. So I think that's it. And here I am, recreating myself.
So we have more questions for you. So can you tell us a little bit about your work with indigenous art and artists? It's a question from Mila Freire.
So I have more a relationship with them. They have their art, which I love. Their art, I love. So I help them promoting their art. So my idea to go there is to do something with them, but I'm more in respect. I'm respecting their art. So I help them in social media. I promote them through social media. I have a daughter who is a curator, and she is preparing an exhibition about them. So I help when it's needed, little things here and there. But I don't have like a personal work. I would love to, but I wanted to go there and feel it. I like to feel, to be there and breathe all this energy, and then see what we can do.
Okay, so from Doe, we have a question. What is your favorite bird?
Oh,
from Doug, right?
Doug.
Doug, sorry.
I love all of them. I love the cardinals here in Virginia. Here, I love the parrots in Brazil, but here now I have to think. We have something going on with the cardinals.
I agree. Yeah, I live in Virginia as well, and they're spectacular, beautiful cardinals.
Yeah.
And we have a comment from Maria Amelia Ramaciotti. Yes, beautiful works. I love the combination of visual works, music, and poetry.
Thank you.
And from Mariana, we have a question. How would you describe your art style?
Yes.
That's a difficult one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have a minimalist style. I try to use lines to simplify it, my stylized style, but without losing the complexity. So sometimes I think I'm more worried about the message. It's very condensed. It's very simple, but there's a lot there to talk about.
So right now we don't have more questions from the audience. I don't know, Laurind, if you have any more question.
I think there's one more there.
Oh, there is one more. Sorry, I didn't see. Oh, sorry. Yes, you are right. So Matt is asking, what do you recommend to new artists who are starting?
So beside working hard, being persistent, do not give up, which is basic, I think, in any career. I think the most important thing is to find your voice. You have a unique voice and you have a message to the world. So find that. It looks simple, but it's not. So it takes years of maturity, and find that voice and present it to the world. We're waiting for you.
Yeah, that's right. Because people's uniqueness are their gift, right? Many times. That's what makes you special and different than everyone else.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Do we have, oh, okay.
We
you know
have
what I'm,
a question. Sorry.
is there another one?
Yes, there is another one. So Maria Amelia Ramachotti is asking, what is your next project? Working more with cork?
So I always work with several projects at the same time. I can say one thing. So yes, I'm using, there's a company called Amorim Cork that we're the #1 producers in the world. We export, and they were very kind to me. They donate me several pieces of cork. So I'm exploring that material, but it's hard because cork is already so beautiful that I feel like what I'm going to do is already beautiful. So yes, I'm working with that. I'm thinking about another poetry book using those images from the, remember the nature with the COVID on the back, some reflections that. And also I'm working with Antonio Ribeiro and Celso Ribeiro and my brother, Rui, the clarinetist. We're putting together a video.
I see another question from Pamela Cunha, and it's a great question. Who inspires you?
I think everyone, I think everyone inspires me. Could be like a concert, like I told you, could be an event, could be a person. I mean, it could be so many things. Usually there are events or people who touch me. So I feel I'm very sensitive. So I feel it. And then sometimes I need to translate onto something. Yeah, and I have a great story about Pamela, actually. I'm glad she's here. So, so art has so many roles, right? But can also serve to connect people. And that's what happened with us. I always knew I have these cousins growing up in Africa, but I never met them. But I always heard about them. It was different, someone in Africa, I didn't know. So, and we never met till after the exhibition, a cousin in common introduced us. And we realized that we both lived at the same time in DC. We didn't know each other. We were here. Yeah, then she moved to another country, but we were at the same place together. And also realized, beside our international background, we had an artistic journey, both. Me with my paintings and her with a fashion collection, and we're both inspired by our roots. So it's a nice story that my art helped me to get back to this part of the family.
To connect with family. That's such a beautiful, real life story. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there are more questions. I cannot see here more questions. Oh, wait, one more. So Mike is asking, if you had one museum you could pick up to display to display your art, what would it be?
Sandra, that's us. I told Sandra next is going to be a museum. So there are 2 museums. One that I visit by accident. It was not accident, it was just happened after this video, was the Children's Museum in DC. And I love to be close to children. I think it's wonderful to have this power to inspire and create opportunities for children. So that's one, they have a nice space. And another one is the Women's Museum in DC. I'd love to exhibit there, just because I'm here. So I would like to have something here. And I don't know if I mentioned to you, I have 2 artworks on the streets of DC. So I have my presence there. So, but I would love to have a museum here, Women's Museum.
So Glenn is saying that she loves your work.
Thank you, Glenn.
Tell us more about the artwork that you have in DC.
About what?
You mentioned you have 2 artworks in DC. Did I?
Yes. So was, you know, this, it's called, I think it's police call box. So in the past, they had these telephones on the street. You could call the police. So they are like little box, look like a little house. And you could call, I don't know, it was the fireworks or it was the police. So they removed that and they invite artists to paint some artwork. So I was one of selected. I actually paint 2, and I did musician. So I did one was a cello player because it's my instrument. Another one is a jazz player to honor the African Americans in DC and their beautiful jazz music.
Sure. Oh, that's fantastic. That's so great.
I just want to remind the people that are watching that that you can always visit the gallery, the Portuguese American Art Gallery, and we are holding a Meet the Artist session every month. So stay tuned for the next one next month. But we have another question. This is just in between. From your experience with schools, are you doing enough to encourage art in primary and secondary schools?
I think depends on the district you live. So my kids were fortunate enough to have always art, but I think it's always considered a specialty. So it's not important. So it's more, the other subjects are more important. And I think art connects everything, sticks together everything. So I think this approach to art should be different. I think depends on you live, the resources are different. And I feel sorry for the kids who not have enough exposure. But I feel like we should not be talking about STEM, but STEAM with a A on the middle. Art, you know, and that's something I do in my education role, is to explore these concepts, technology, engineer, math, and science, in transforming art projects. So even for the kids, art, you know, it's hard for them to do the subjects. If they have art, they can help them to embrace the concepts in a different way.
That's very true. So we have a comment from Magda Vakil, and she says, thank you for sharing your beautiful work and walking us through your creative process.
Thank you, Magda.
Very nice.
Yeah. So do we have more questions? I also have a screen that I want to share. If meantime we have any question, let me just put it here. We
have another question.
Okay, I'll just leave. Leave this screen here. It has the website for the Portuguese American Gallery and my website and Antonio Celso.
Yeah, very important. Thank you for doing that. So give people a chance to write it down or take a picture with their phone.
Yeah. Do we have more questions?
Yes, we have one more. So from Marilda, she asks, the pandemic has shown that art, music, philosophy, etc. are the areas that can help people cope with this stress. Well, this is more of a comment.
Yeah, it is. And I think for me was essential to keep my mind balanced and positive and productive and creative. And I think everyone should be a creative outlet. I think everyone should do something where they feel empowered. You know, it's their space. There's no competition. That's something, it's you. So you are able to do whatever, and it's your expression.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's key, right? Giving kids the opportunity to really express themselves.
And adults, kids and adults too.
Yeah. That is true. In fact, I think that, you know, it's become a trend, or at least it was prior to COVID, where they have these like with parents and mothers, whatever, go to a painting class and, you know, have a glass of wine in a painting class. And it really took off. People loved it.
Now just online. You can do online.
Yeah, exactly. But it was very popular because it did provide that expression and healing, and it was very great.
Well, I
Very
think
fun.
we are getting close to our time. I don't know if anyone has one more question for Leonor before Leonor disappears from the screen.
I'm going to paint. I'm going to paint.
So we have just one more comment saying, "Beautiful work, Leonor,"
Thank you. Thank you very much.
from Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
And wait, yes, obrigada. Seeing your work as hearing about them is great. Parabéns.
Thank you.
So from Eduardo, we have a question, and he's asking, you briefly mentioned your poetry. Could you tell us more about your poems?
I think I expressed that was like one more outlet for me to express my emotions. I never thought I'll be a poet, but suddenly just starts coming in form of words. So before it was dancing, it was playing music, and then suddenly the words come. So I love it. It really is one more outlet. I mean, I don't know if I have something to say. I can read one more comment so we can just end the session. What do you think?
I think it would be great.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, it's been such an honor to have this opportunity with you, Leonor, and Sandra, but, you're such a talent, and I don't recall personally meeting an artist that is as multi-talented and faceted as you, and it's been, such a joy to hear your story and to be inspired by the wonderful work that you share with the world, and that is inspiring the world. So thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you, Lori. I can't wait to hug you in person.
Me too.
Thank you so much, Leonor. It has been great to have you here. And it's very inspiring because you are a full artist, like an artist from another times that was that used to be artists everywhere. There used to be dancers, musicians, painters, and you are
That's right.
one of them. So
That's
really,
right.
congratulations for your work. It has been great meeting you and having a friend relationship with you throughout the exhibition and everything. So it has been great to be close to you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful personal connections that are another gift that come from this. And Antonio, we want to thank you as well for sharing your beautiful music with us and with the audience.
Thank you. So to finalize, I'm going to read the poem. It's about finding your voice, and then I think we can end.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
It's called Enigmas. That morning, the sea opened up. The storm spread across the sky. Waves with smell of power. A sea that turned into sky. A sky that turned into earth. In the midst of the storm, I discovered my voice. It arrived serene, calm, sweet, with a taste of honey, with the wings of birds. It flew through open space and showed me, without wavering, new horizons. I felt the fear of flying. I called out to my ancestor for stories that could bring me certainty, certainties that no one could give, until the risk of flight was ventured. The lightness of being lifted me. I closed my eyes and confronted this new space, new stories to tell, enigmas to decipher. Thank you. Thank you all.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining, and have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gracie.
Thank you.
Bye. Boa noite.
Boa noite.